In fact, Russia has declared a ceasefire in 5 Ukrainian cities starting at 12:30 this afternoon, the Indian Standard Time, to assist movement of civilians through the humanitarian corridors. Samiksha now joins us for more information on ceasefire guidelines that have been issued. Samiksha, take us through what you're learning.
So, Nupur, day after day, 3 rounds of talks were held between Russia and Ukraine. What we're learning is that Russia has announced facilitation of a humanitarian corridor, which would be effective from 10 a.m. Moscow time. We have accessed this statement also that has been issued by the Russian embassy in India. Now, significant to note here that the routes that have been established for the humanitarian corridor, all of these routes lead to either Belarus or Russia. Let's take a look and understand the routes that have been established by Russia. It says that the Russian Federation has declared ceasefire and is ready to provide humanitarian corridors from Kiev and adjacent settlements to the Russian Federation through the territory of the Republic of Belarus to Gostomel city, with the delivery by air to the Russian Federation. So there we have the first route. The other route is from Chernihiv through the territory of Republic of Belarus to Gostomel, with the delivery by air transport to the Russian Federation. The third route from Sumy by 2 routes to Poltava and to the territory of the Russian Federation to Belgorod. That is the 4th route. And the 5th route here, it is from Kharkiv to the territory of Russian Federation to Belgorod. Now remember, all these routes lead either to either Belarus or Russia, as I just mentioned. Another important point that I wanted to highlight here is that Russia, of course, has hit out at Ukraine again. It has said that due to the failure and inability of the Ukrainian side to ensure the functioning of humanitarian corridors, the situation in a large number of settlements on almost the entire territory of Ukraine, primarily in such cities such as Kiev, Chernihiv, Sumy and Kharkiv, as well as Mariupol, is rapidly deteriorating and has acquired a character of humanitarian catastrophe. So there we have Russia, pinning the blame on the Ukrainian side, saying that it's Ukraine that has failed to facilitate the humanitarian corridor, whereas Russia has now said that it will ensure that the humanitarian corridor takes place, and that would be effective from 10 a.m. Moscow time. Back to you. Getting you news in brief, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson stood alongside the leaders of Canada and the Netherlands and announced a new international support group for Ukraine that will coordinate the efforts of the international community to provide long-term support to Ukraine and its people. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken has assured Lithuania and Latvia of NATO protection and American support as he made quick visits to 2 of the 3 Baltic states that are increasingly on edge as Russia presses ahead with its invasion of Ukraine. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau imposed sanctions against 10 individuals with close ties to the Russian leadership, including Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov and businessman Oleg as well. Trudeau made the announcement during the joint address with his UK and Dutch counterpart. Amid the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Hungarian finance minister said that Hungary will not support the expansion of anti-Russian sanctions in the energy sector, as this would threaten both the national currency and welfare of Hungarians. The Danish military has deployed more equipment and vehicles to Estonia, part of NATO's enhanced forward presence in the Baltics and Poland. Later in March, around 200 Danish soldiers are expected to follow suit.